Hello there, and welcome to this episode of Little Big Knits. I am your knitting podcast friend, known as Selma Knits on Instagram and Ravelry. And I'm coming to you from a slightly different location, not podcast corner at home, but I'm coming to you from Brussels. I just arrived this morning. I'm here for work for a couple of days, and arrived on this Saturday morning with my colleagues. We arrived at 7 o'clock Brussels time, which is 2 o'clock my time, and we decided that we would come to the hotel and rest before heading out and exploring the city. And I thought I might sleep, but that just hasn't happened. So anyway, I thought maybe I'll just check in and say hello. And I'm going to take you a little bit of on a tour of the city with me, just get you some shots a little bit later when we meet up. And we'll probably be going somewhere for lunch and starting the day. Not sure how much energy I'll have because I maybe slept 3 hours on the plane, maybe. I did miss breakfast. I seem to have slept through breakfast, so that's a good sign. I don't usually sleep very well on planes, but this time I was out. So one thing that I was knitting on the plane that I'll just share with you quickly before we head out is I was knitting a second version of the Corran Cardigan by Rebecca Clow, also known as the Crayabea. You may remember recently I made a blue version as a test knit for that cardigan, and I decided that I wanted to make a summer version. And so I brought this with me and worked on it. I had already done the ribbing, but I did most of the lace yesterday, most of it. Only to try it on and realize that it's very big. So I'm gonna have to go down 2 sizes. Because I'm using a lighter yarn and smaller needles than I did last time, I thought I could go up that much larger, but I seem to have made a mistake. So I'm gonna be ripping this out and starting over, unfortunately. I am using some Patton's Grace that I have had in my stash for a long time. Scrappy Stashy Mal, hello. I've had this in my stash for about, I think 2014. I swore I bought this in like 2018, but I bought it in like 2014. Anyway, it's been around. It's been waiting. I loved this color. I thought it was a beautiful brown when I found it. It was actually, I suspect discontinued color because it was in the sales bin, but it's color 1204, and it's just a very, very nice brown. So I'm going to be starting over. I just literally started my double cast on. I do my double cast on 2 needles. A lot of people I know do it on 1 needle. I learned with 2 needles, and I've always done it like that, where I hold the yarn and I just go and do it like that. And then every 20 or so, I need to take them off and push them down. So that's how I do my cast on. And I've always done it. I have to say, I'm a little bit lazy. I think there are all these fancy schmancy, lovely different ways of casting on, and I just always do the long tail cast on. I usually gauge the yarn right. We'll see if I'm right this time, but I'll be casting on and starting over 2 sizes smaller. I'm planning on making I'm planning on making a V-neck version this time. Last time I made a round neck version, and I think it'll be a short sleeve version as well this time. So yeah, so that's what I've been working on, and well, I'll be pulling all that out and starting over, and that's okay. So I will leave you for now and take you on a walk around the city and show you some sights of the city. So I hope that you enjoyed the few minutes of footage from our first day here, our day in Brussels yesterday. We had a really nice day. The weather was lovely and we just walked around and really down in this sort of historical, this particular area of central Brussels. And it really was very, very lovely. And we had, of course, waffles, and we had chocolate and pastries. And we ended the day eating at a very, very good Middle Eastern restaurant called Le Compteur. And it was just beautiful. It was a beautiful day, and we were quite tired dealing with jet lag, but it was just really lovely walking around, and there were so many people around, lots of tourists. And just really very nice hearing languages from all over the place, and interesting being in a place where there's more than one language all the time. Not that unusual from being in a place like Ottawa where you have French and English going on, but I would say even more accentuated here. It was just really, really nice. And before moving on to what we did during our day today, I thought you might be interested in knowing what knits I actually brought along with me. So I've just gathered the few knits I brought with me. I had told you that I was going to be bringing only carry-on, which I did do. And so packing had to be really organized into outfits. And so I really only brought 3 knits. Garment-wise, and then a pair of socks. So I'll show you the socks first. I finished these socks. I had shown these to you on my last episode. These are socks that are just a basic vanilla cuff down sock with a slip stitch heel flap that I made using not even the rest of the skein, because there's still some left from this wonderful, wonderful speckled yarn from Camijo Yarns called A One Night in Bangkok. And it's just such beautiful, beautiful speckling on this sock. There was just a tiny little bit of pooling that happened on the second sock towards the bottom for a little bit. But otherwise, it's just been really evenly speckled and just really lovely. I'm looking forward to wearing these. It was a little bit too warm here to wear them. I've just worn some cotton socks, but I think that I will get some chance to wear them probably when I go to Finland. I had used West Yorkshire spinner. I don't even remember what this color was called, but a lavender. And this was a mini from Hedgerow Yarns. And then these little bit left from Whale Street Yarns, which is a skein that I had gotten from when Mel Make Stuff was dyeing yarn. So I finished the socks with the toes in that yarn. There's still a little bit that's going to be going into a blanket. And yeah, I just finished these, so I brought them, and I'm sure I'm going to get a chance to wear them. I'm wearing my Stockholm Slipover by Petite Knit. This is the second one that I made. I wore, 3 episodes ago that I had knit in Sonder Yarns Sunday Morning 4-ply in their Rise and Shine colorway, and some Surrey silk from Emilie Philomène. Can't remember what the base was called, but I wore this out today and with this white shirt, and so this is what I was wearing today. Just a nice layering piece. So what else did I bring? I brought also my red Ranunculus, because I thought it's just a really easy, light piece to wear. Although I had made this for Christmas, I think you can wear red at any point. So I actually wore this out to dinner last night with a light blouse underneath it, and it was just perfect. It cooled down a bit last night, and it was very nice to wear. So this was one that you saw. I think I finished this for Christmas. It was made from some drops lace and some mohair silk by... Who was it by? I don't remember. I'll have to put it down here. I don't remember. So there you go. So this is the second top that I brought with me, and I have worn already. And I think it's just going to be really, really useful. I brought a blouse to wear with it, but I also brought like a black camisole. So I thought that's an easy thing to wear to dress up in some way, in a nice light layering piece. And the last garment that I wore, or that I brought rather, is my finished perfect crop top. This is the Perfect Crop Top by Teresa Gregorio, also known as Canary Knits. And I was working on this in my last episode, and it is now finished. And I actually wore it in Ottawa before leaving one day. And it's just really, really lovely. It's going to be absolutely fabulous. So I do still need to take pictures. I may be wearing this tomorrow or Tuesday when I'm working with a jacket, and actually I'm going to grab that jacket. Table is not stable. All right, so I have this sort of Chanel jacket with 3/4 length sleeves, and I think I put it on with this the other day just to see what it would look like with some black bottoms, and I was like, yeah, or with jeans actually. And I thought this will be a very nice thing to wear with this jacket, just underneath like that. And then if it's really warm, I can take the jacket off. But yeah, and with black pants or with jeans, as I said. So yes, this has turned out to be really, really nice. This table is a little bit on the wonky side, sorry. This is a lovely design. I really liked it. There was a little bit of pulling that happened here, but I didn't do short rows in this version. The pattern does not have short rows in it, but in my first version, I had added some short rows. I was knitting this along, and then I looked at the other one. I realized I had done short rows, and I thought, okay, I'm not putting short rows in it. It fits very nicely even without the short rows. But what it does is it makes it so that I can actually make this the front rather than this. So that's what I'll be doing. And I made it a little bit longer than in the pattern. If you've looked at the pattern, it really is a little crop top, and she actually has you doing decreases. I did not add those decreases, and I made it a little longer, and it just fits really nicely. And I actually did some decreases at the bottom before the ribbing, so it just sits a little bit, a little bit like an old-fashioned sweater, a little bit, gives it a little bit of perhaps a vintage vibe, but it's just very, very pretty. So I am looking forward to wearing this as well during this trip. So these are the 3 garments that I brought. And before I forget, this was made out of ball and skein yarn, a fingering merino yarn rather, that I bought at the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival last October from Ball and Skein, and it has some stellina in it. So yeah, it's a very nice top, and I actually used almost the entirety of the 2 skeins. I have probably about a 10 gram mini left of the yarn, which will go into a new scrappy project. And that's what I brought with me. I'm very curious to see if I'm able to, I'm just going to throw it over there. I'm very curious to see if I'm able to manage with carry-on for 3 weeks, if I packed in a way that made sense for this time. Yeah, I'm curious to see, and I'll let you know at the end of the whole thing. I showed you earlier on that I had gotten probably about 5 or 6 inches on my Corran cardigan, my new Corran cardigan, and it was way too big. So I have started a second one. I haven't tried it on, but I think I measured it against the other one, and I was like, yes, this makes sense. So I haven't quite reached this point where I was with the other one yet, but it's coming along nicely, and I think this is going to be really, really nice. So It's the evening now. I hope to spend a little bit of time this evening knitting on this and enjoying before I start work tomorrow. What we did today was that we got on a train and went to Bruges, which is about an hour west of Brussels. And it's a beautiful, beautiful little town. We took the train, as I said, in the morning, and we just walked and walked, and it was just lovely. Bruges is it's so pretty, it's hard to believe that it's real. It's just absolutely beautiful. And we also did a little boat tour along the canals, because there's a series of canals within Bruges, and just beautiful, 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 absolutely stunning. And just had a lovely day walking around. We really walked a lot, all over the place, except for while we were in the boat, obviously. And we stopped at one point, had a lovely lunch, and had some more Belgian chocolates, and I had a little bit of a Belgian beer and a carbonade, which is a very typical dish from here, sort of a meat stew made with beer. And that was really good. And just saw the stunning architecture that is the entirety of Bruges. It's just so incredibly beautiful and an easy place to be, and a lovely place for a day trip. So if you're ever this way, a lovely, lovely place to go, I would say. And so I'll leave you with some footage now of Bruges, of our day there and our walks around and the loveliness that it is. And I'll see you on the other side.
Le palais des Centres se trouve au musée Grand. L'aperçu de la peinture aux Pays-Bas méridionaux peut te faire un très très système. Now it's very beautiful.
Hello there. So we're a couple of days later and I'm actually not even in Brussels anymore. I've got my little suitcase there that is a carry-on packed to the gills, and today we came to London. However, I did want to share with you one last thing from my trip or my time in Brussels, because I met up with another knitter, and I managed to find the time and she was able to find the time, and we met up and she took me to a shop called Sip and Knit. So I am going to share that footage with you. I'm sorry that there's a little bit of wind in the very first part where we're outside, and I didn't quite realize that. So the sound isn't fabulous for that 20 something seconds. And then there'll be a little bit of footage from the shop, and then I'll share with you what I got. Hello there. I am here with Siobhan. Hi. Siobhan contacted me when I said that I was coming to Brussels and asked if I wanted to come to the shop in Brussels. Thank you so much, Siobhan. And so I am going to be taking you to the shop, which is called Sip and Knit, here in a lovely neighborhood of Brussels. We'll take you in there and see what it's all about. Called Sip and Knit. Siobhan, do you want to open the door and we'll go inside? Siobhan's wearing beautiful knitwear. Have you noticed? Oh, hello. Hello.
Good.
Oop.
Be careful.
So I'm having some very, very big temptations here. Let's see what Selma comes home with today. Will Selma come home with this, which she's liking very much? I don't think Selma will come home with this, but I really love this color. It's so beautiful. A little bit cold for me, but it's really, really lovely. There's also this beautiful blue. I think I'm going through a little bit of a blue moment, but I'll show you a little later what I come home with. So Siobhan and I had a lovely time together. We met after my work, so we didn't have a huge amount of time because the shop was closing at 6 and I actually had dinner plans at 6:30. But we met up and took the train over to Sip and Knit and had a lovely time there with the owner, or one of the owners, Kelly. It was just really, really lovely. It's a lovely shop. It hasn't been open for very long. Sip and Knit, it's called. So if you happen to be in Brussels, check it out. The train system or a subway system in Brussels seems very efficient. That was my only time taking it. No, it was just really, really lovely shop with hand-dyed yarns. There's only one Belgian dyer. My understanding is there aren't many hand dyers in Belgium. And then there was some French hand dyers, and she had Lang yarns as well as some Durarum yarns and some other brands as well. And it was just really lovely and a lovely atmosphere. There's a sofa and some chairs to sit down. She serves tea. You can get tea or coffee there and just relax. So it was a very nice little time after work with Siobhan and Kelly. Now, what did Selma buy? First, Siobhan was very kind and showed up with gifties for me. So thank you very much, Siobhan, for that. Really lovely and very generous with her time, and then we just had such a great time together. She brought macarons as well, and she gifted me 2 skeins of yarn. One is actually from that shop, By Night Dyes. Now this is a Belgian hand dyer, and she dyes with natural dyes, and this is dyed with onion skins. And I'll be showing you in my next episode some dyeing experiments that I just had recently with onion skins. So this is just beautiful. It's a 100% merino, and it's just this very, very beautiful color that I thought I kind of see something on my hands for some reason with this, but we'll see what ends up becoming. The other skein that Siobhan shared with me very kindly was a skein of the Mondim by Retrosario Pomar. This is Belgian wool that is meant to be a non-nylon sock wool that is non-superwash as well, and is a Portuguese wool. I've made socks with this before that I absolutely love. And so I'm looking forward to making a second pair. I have heard some inconsistent reports about Mondim, so I'm curious to see if a second batch from a completely different time and color and lot, how it's going to behave, because my first pair are incredibly well wearing. Like, I've been very, very impressed with them. So yeah, so thank you so much, Siobhan. Now the question is, what did Selma buy? Selma was thinking that she wanted to buy yarn for a new gray sweater, because I made my, was it my second ranunculus, was a gray mohair ranunculus. And I really, really love it, and I wear it a lot. And it's not, I wear it all the time, but it's a little bit more, like, I could never wear it to work. I would never wear it to a restaurant. It's a little bit on the, it's sort of looking worn out. It was perhaps a little overly drapey or something, but I wear it all the time. I just, I thought maybe I need another gray blue sweater, because I love that one a lot, but perhaps something that would fit a bit more nicely or just fall a little differently so that it didn't quite, I don't know how to say, it's not that it sags, but it just doesn't, it looks lovely up here, but the sleeves are kind of a little bit too droopy, and I'm not quite sure, but I thought perhaps I wanted to have a lento in a similar color. And I didn't get in on the Let's Lento Cal that Rebecca of the Creabea and Amy Palco were doing together, Amy Palco of the Meaningful Stitch. But it has remained with me, and I just really didn't have any yarn for it at the time that was really calling to me. And I thought, I really want another loose gauge gray blue sweater. So I got this stunning color. This is such beautiful yarn. This color is called Cyanosita cristata. It's an alpaca silk cashmere blend by La Fille, who is a French dyer. It's a fingering weight with 400 meters, so about 425 yards, and this will make a great sweater. So this was what I got, and a lovely, lovely souvenir from my time with Siobhan and Kelly and from Brussels, and I'll look forward to making that sweater. I'm so in love with this color. So yeah, so that was my time in Brussels. I had dinner that night with my 2 colleagues, and this morning we left. So that was yesterday. It feels like a world away. So I probably will leave it off here for this vlog, so to speak. Hopefully you've gotten a sense of Belgium and a little bit of my time here with some of the footage. I really enjoyed it, actually. I really liked it, and I could see myself coming back. There were a lot of things that I wanted to see. I tried lots of delicious things. There's chocolate and waffles and French fries and beer everywhere. So I definitely partook of some of those, all of those. And there was great food. It was very cosmopolitan feeling in many ways. And part of my work meant that I actually drove around quite a bit. I didn't drive around, somebody else drove around. So I got to see different parts of the city, and there were some really lovely neighborhoods, and it was just very nice. So I'll leave you with that. And I am here in London, although I don't think that I'm going to be doing a whole lot of footage here, but I will be going to Finland next. And I definitely hope to take some footage in Finland. It's going to be a very personal trip for me, but I do hope to spend a little bit of time walking around and seeing things. And I'll share those with you most likely when I go back to Canada. So hope you enjoy. We'll see you next time. Happy knitting, my friends. Take care.